making this video for my raw friends. I was dating a man named Isaac when I worked for this woman. We were all smoking marijuana and abusing alcohol together. I made a lot of money. I knew every plot plan to take people out. I was under the influence most of the time. I made a lot of money for this woman. And she told me that we were going there to make amends. And I thought maybe she would free me of this thing. When we walked along the beach, she said, I want to give you a promotion. And I said, well, I'm leaving this guy and I want to clean my life up. And I did. And the day before I left on my 2-week notice, and she promised me that she would terminate him. The day before my 2-week notice, she asked me to do 20 facials the next day. I was a hairdresser, but I had a unique facial ability to do 20 facials for free. And I refused. And Nadia, who the birthday was for, handed me my check, and I had to put all my stuff in my car at 10 o'clock at night. And I left, and I never looked back. And today, she promised that, again, to have a conversation with me. When I came up, I was late because she took me into the hills of Parker, and all the streets had been changed, and the GPS did not know where I was at. And I'm calling Tim, and I'm like, don't want to be late, and my stuff is melting in the back of the car. And I show up with this tray, because I'm not going to change who I am, because that's who I am. That's who I am, and I'm not going to go back to that time. And I just want to bury that past. She took me on trips, and I just sold my soul for money. And so I show up in my hippie gear, and I looked awesome. And she said, oh my God, Cindy. And the woman that handed me my check, that was her birthday, and she said, oh my God, you're here. And I said, I apologize for being late. I was lost. Actually, I burned a quarter tank of gas. I was so lost. And finally, a man with a wife with a wheelchair took me up there, because there's no GPS. So when I got there, it was really weird, because it was all people that I had gotten drunk with and used drugs with, and this woman is a very prominent woman. And I know how manipulating she can be. And I just wanted to bury that part of my past. And they didn't even open my gift. And I just sat there. And she called me over, and she had brought beef stew. Of all things, she's so wealthy. She brought beef stew, which is fine. And I brought my own food. And I put my tray there, and it just all melted, which is fine. It's okay, because you guys know how much. So I was basically ignored. And she kept introducing me as this guy's girlfriend, and she knows I'm not with him. I'm married to Tim. And it's a horrible story, and I can't tell you, but so I sat down, and she called me over there, and she said, Cindy, you can't eat this. It's tainted with beef, which all of us know I won't do it anyway. So I ate my food. I went off to another section because I didn't want people to feel uncomfortable. So I went off to another sitting table in the sun, and I ate, and she requested me to come back, so I did. And Nadia, of course, was extremely nice to me, which she was probably instructed by Tina to be nice to me, which I thought was fine. It didn't bother me because I was behaving, and I know I'm a different person. So my Chanel scarf from Italy, I know she wears scarves, so I wrapped it beautifully, and I put it on the table. And she opened everyone's gift, and it just sat there. And finally, after 2 hours, I said, Nadia, excuse me. I said, if you have time, would you open my gift? And she said, oh, Tina, I have to read my birthday card. So that's what I did. So she finally opens my gift. And of course, she's very polite and puts my card aside. And she kept trapping my car because it was up on a hill. And she would go have private conversations with people, and they'd move their car. And I couldn't get my car out, so I couldn't leave. And I was on empty. And I was in the hills, so I knew I could run out of gas. Finally, somebody told me how to get out of there. And then the people that trapped my car finally left, thank God. And so I left. And she said, you're so peaceful. And a deer came up, and it was fine. So no amends were made, and it was just horrible. She introduced me to every single person as this man's girlfriend, and that's not who I am. I'm Tim's wife. And I will never forget this experience, and I'll never go back to the past. No matter what my program says I must do, I'm not going to do it, because she's so manipulating. It was horrible. She even brought up the time when her son got in a car accident, and I helped her mom, and I thought maybe she would just take a walk with me and have that conversation, but she didn't. And then every time a space opened where I could get my car out, she would pull people off to the side, which I could see because they would move their car, and I was literally trapped between two cars. There was nowhere around, or you would have fell off the hill, so I was just stuck. Plus, I was on empty. So I'm texting Tim in a panic, and she manipulated everyone, as she always does. And it's so funny how the people that don't really like her, they go off by themselves because they don't, not even the man she's with likes her. They go off. And I know this behavior because I've seen it. I've seen it for 2 years, but I made so much money that I didn't care. And now I'm like, I left the tray of food. I just left it there. I said, you could throw it away. It doesn't matter. It was a nice gesture. And this really nice girl, Suze, who came on right when I left, she actually used to pull me to the side and say, she's a piece of work. And I said, yeah. Everybody knew the way she was. So, Suze was like, that's a lot of love you put in that. And I said, thank you, Suze. And that was it. The rest were all hiding away from me. And that's what she did to me last time. I left there. I thought I could patch it up. I wasn't even really stable in who I was yet, but I thought maybe I could patch up what had happened. Because she was so deeply hurt by me leaving. And she was trying to give me a promotion as she took me to Mexico and kicked me on the beach because we could not stay. It's just a long story, but the short of the story was when I left there, I was crying the last time because she kept introducing me as this guy's girlfriend, and I'm not with him anymore, and he touched women, and I didn't know that when he was massaging them, and I didn't know that. And Timmy's my husband, and I was embarrassed, and that's not who I am. And somebody brought up gardening, and I was trying to have a conversation with someone. And every time I even and then the bathroom broke, and I had to go to the bathroom. Oh my God. Could it get any worse? And then I'm on E and the light's on, and I'm thinking, oh my God, am I going to do 14? Whatever. Finally, somebody told me how to get out of there. And she goes, oh, that's right. I don't have your number. So I had to message her on Facebook when I'm lost and say, I'm lost. I'm so sorry I'm late. And she didn't even have my number in there because she had asked to call me, and I gave her my number. So I had to put her phone number in my phone, which I didn't even think she wanted to do. And it was just like the worst experience of my life. But I went in being me and I left out being me. And I'm proud about that. And this is a very serious past. This is like drug dealing in a spa. Like, this is a lot of stuff. And she's like in the city hall. She's like on the city council. Like, it's just weird. I don't want her money. I don't want her life. I don't want anything like that. I just want to make amends for any behavior I had that was inappropriate. But obviously that's not going to happen because she controls everyone. And you can see who hates her. You can see it. I mean, I know it. I can feel it. And we never took that walk. And me, the idiot that I am, I park up on the hill. If I'd have parked on the dirt road, I could have just walked up and left, you know. But I couldn't because I drove up there. And any opportunity she got to take a shot at me, she did, you know. And I know the difference because I used to play those games. And I'm not that person today. So this is my chronology of my life of trying to become a better person. And being a better person. And you're so vulnerable. And there was a deer, and they were talking about killing it. And I just kept that smile on my face, you know? And quite literally, like, there's a clump of people who hate her guts, you know, that are manipulated by her, and they just sit away. Just like when she kicked me on the beach and said, get your boyfriend and go to the beach with my rotten son and don't come in. And I chose to stay out there with them, even though we were high and drunk and whatever. It was like, that's where we stayed because we didn't do it her way. And then she tried to demand that I work when I was there, and it was my 10-day vacation. To be honest with you, I've never even taken a vacation. But her house was right next to a sewer, so I ended up getting, you know, the Montezuma's revenge, and she refused to take me off the schedule because I make too much money for her. And she never introduced me as a hairdresser, always introduced me as an esthetician. Wasn't even my primary job. So it's like, it's like horrible. It's horrible. Let alone degrading to Tim. And last time I tried to defend myself, and she wasn't having it. When I left her spa the last time, she asked me to come teach someone my unique facial. And that person called me within 5 minutes of leaving and said she told me she'd fire me if I ever spoke to you again. And I called her after I came back from Mexico, and she was drunk, and she said, Cindy, stop crying. Get over it. But I knew I was coming to that end of my life. And I threw the pipe on the ground, and I stepped on it. And I put liquor away and said, never again. I'm losing my soul. And I went to an AA meeting, and I had to pick up my life again. And we walked on the beach, and she promised me that when I got back, I could leave this guy that was wrecking my life. And not just what I was doing to myself. And she showed up to get us stuff. I put my 2-week notice and I left that life. And she brought me over to the beach too and said, Cindy, come here, and I did. And she said, it's not your food. You can't eat it. It's contaminated. And I said, it's okay, I brought my own food. And I was so nervous, I left my food there. I ran, got some gas, found a way out of there. It literally was 2 turns. It was one out, left turn, right to the highway. Perfect. People literally came, dropped off a gift, and left. And every time they left and moved their car, she made another car get there, so I couldn't get out. And I don't know what it is that made her do this to me and continues to do this to me. I can say I allowed her, but I'm trying to bury a hatchet, a huge hatchet. And I thought if she understood there was more to my life, that she would let it go. So she never has that talk with me that she promises. She inundates me with information. She relayed this whole story of where I helped her, and it wasn't even correct. And she has this son who I love very much. And he looks like he's dying. And I seen him on Facebook. And she messaged me and gave me a scripture. And then I show up and they're high. And they're at a woman's house that didn't even, she hated my guts. I mean, it was just, I'm not going to do it anymore. And my life is my own. And I wasn't the token vegan. But I was going to be damned to buy a gift for that woman. Because it's just a nightmare. So I gave her an old Chanel scarf that somebody gave me. I never wore it once. Put it in a box. Wrapped it with silver paper. Because it was penguin themed and I don't wear black. That's what I wore for 10 years. So I don't wear black. Ever, hardly. I mean, it's just rare. And I went and it was just a shit show. And I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to make myself feel uncomfortable. And when my instincts tell me that it's not going to be better, it probably isn't. And I'm crying because she trapped me. And I could see it. I mean, you can't even not see it. It wasn't like a 50-person party. There was like 10 people there. So you can see her walking, having a conversation with somebody, moving the car, and trapping my car. She knew my car. And I couldn't leave. Everybody was leaving, and I was trying to get out. As she kept burying me and saying, "This is Isaac's girlfriend." I'm not Isaac's girlfriend. I haven't been with Isaac for how many years now? And she kept saying that. All she had to say was, that was a hairdresser that used to work for me, and everyone would have known me because I did all their hair. But nope. She's coming from a different angle. And she said, when we're walking on the beach in Mexico, I want to make you lead esthetician, but I knew I would hurt the other girls, so I didn't. And literally, when I left her spa the last time, people called me. My phone was just beeping, and I was in tears. And they were like, she said she'd fire us if we talked to you. So literally, they lost their jobs if they even talked to me. And I just left her spa and gave somebody a class on how to do a facial. And this is the way this woman works, and it's never going to change, no matter how many scriptures she gives me. And it's never, I can't make amends. So I know now in my recovery that will never change. I did the best I could, and I was under the influence. It's the best I can do. So it's over. It's done. And I'm done. So I'll probably cry for the rest of the night. My food's up there and melted in a tray, and I left it, got in the cart, and just left. I think maybe 2 people, 3 took a bite. And they don't need to like my food. My food's my food. I sold my soul to that woman. That money, that prestige, and that power. I lost myself there. She won't let it go. That's okay. And then a hawk tried to get Pip and Jimmy. And I could have stayed with Timmy. And a man with a handicapped wife had to take me into the party. That's how weird it was. And Timmy's right here. If Jimmy had gone with me, it would have been a totally different situation, but she didn't invite him. And that's why I don't go to people's houses. Now you know. Because I'm free. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. I don't feel comfortable with. Until I find out who I am. And I just stay quiet. What can you say? What can you do? You can't fight the devil. Just let him. And that's why Tony is the way he is. I know him. He's told me. I said, what do I do, Tony? And he said, you'll find out. And I sure did. And I never bowed to her. And I quit. And she is pissed. And she has tons of employees. She doesn't need me. But I think she wanted to tame me, and she couldn't. And then I found out that drugs were going through the spa. And I didn't care about that either. It's just, it's the principle. Don't sell your soul for money. Don't sell your soul for anything. Don't let the world tell you who you are. And don't reduce yourself down. But it's okay to cry because people will forgive you. And it's okay to cry when you're ready to say, I'm sorry if I hurt you or your feelings or hurt your business in any way. I was never high at work. I wanted to die. I hated my life. Timmy was on the phone with me when I did it. I walked away. Literally, I was going to be killed. So Timmy put me on a truck and got me out of here. That's how bad it was. But nobody seems to get that. That's okay, though. God knows. I know. And I'm going to keep videoing it until I'm done. That garden, Pip, Jimmy, Timmy, they're all important to me. My daughter's baby, all those people. They're very important to me. And my soul is clean. So when I see people who are very fake, like I used to be, it's uncomfortable to watch. Because it's like the way I used to be. But I wouldn't buckle for her. I have too strong of a spirit. I never did. She couldn't tame me. No, I was completely aware who she was. So I got a restraining order against him. And his weapons and the mafia and all the stuff. And she showed up to get his stuff. And he stayed in her house. And then she called me and said, come get him, he's out of control. And I said, he's your problem, not mine. And I had to run from that man. He was a kid. And then he touched someone when he was massaging him. That's the person I used to be with. And it's not my fault. Well, it was an epic failure. I don't care about the food. I don't care about people being vegan. I don't care. We're vegan. That's what I know. And we're good people. And that's what I know. But bad people are bad people. And when they're bad, they have nothing good in them. And she used a scripture. She actually used a biblical scripture. And the second she seen me, she goes, you're so peaceful. She hadn't even been with me over 30 seconds. And I was looking around like, get to know me again. Then you can say that. It's just all a game. I know it. I used to be a hustler. I know a hustle a mile away. And that's what it was. And she started relaying the story, and I was like, that wasn't even what happened. But that's cool, And when I see my car keep getting locked in, I couldn't go forward, and I couldn't go backwards. And there was hills on both sides. And stupid me, I could have parked on the dirt road, and I didn't because I was late, and I had the tray. So I was like, wasn't thinking about walking up the hill. And she would have those little weird conversations where she pulled people away, and that person would get in a car and move it because they all listened to her just like I did, you know? And when you see that kind of manipulation, it's very uncomfortable. I'm going to spend the rest of this evening watching a movie and crying. Because I went there to make peace. I didn't go there to be humiliated. There was 2 people that didn't remember me, and I actually had a conversation with them. And Tom left. Literally. Tom and Nina, all them, you know, like her boyfriend, whatever. She said she got married, but I don't even know who he is. I mean, he's a really nice guy. He used to be in real estate, and he just, like, took off. I mean, you know, they can only stand her for so long. And she really is a nice person to all appearances. You know, she's very appearance person. But it's like sewer. It's like when I went to her house in Puerto Vallarta. I have this great house in Puerto Vallarta, and there's a sewer right now. There's a sewage company right next to it. And there I am, drunk, high, swimming in the water, and I have, like, Montezuma's revenge because I'm drinking this water because I'm so drunk and high. And he has to go down the McDonald's and crap my guts out because God only knows, you know. God only knows. And you couldn't take a dump in her spa. So down to McDonald's I go, take a dump, come back, work, go out there, take a crap. And I did that for 4 months until somebody said take dandelion root or whatever, and I took it and it was gone. Doctors gave me antibiotics, everything. I mean, that's that woman. Like, there's this beautiful house with a pool right on the beach, and there's this sewage right next to it. It's like, that's Tina. When I first went there, I had no clue. I was so under the influence, you know, I didn't even see the truth. And it's just, there's so much past in there, and there's so much lying, and so much manipulation, and so much that I seen, and I just put it in the back of my head. And I had to forgive myself today as I came home, and I called Timmy and was like, oh my God, I gotta get home. It's like walking into evil. It's like that movie with Al Pacino where he's like the devil. That's what it's like. Like you're running your ass off, trying to get away from a devil. Like that's what it feels like with her. And she controls everyone. And there was my gift, just sitting. I was waiting and waiting. And I was trying to wait till she opened my gift so I could leave. And another car got put in front of me and to the side of me. And it was hanging half on a hill and half on the road. And one behind me. So I would have had to go, each one of those people, can you move your car, please? Because I have to go, you know, and I didn't want to make a scene. So it was like, I just sat there, waiting for everybody to leave. Yeah. I said, you can have the tray. And she opens my box. And she said, oh my God, it's Chanel. Somebody gave that to me a long time ago. And they left it in a box. And it was up in my closet. And I said, I'm not going to spend one dime. And I'm glad I didn't. I mean, a cool hippie top. And I'm still here. A little bit scathed, but I'm still here. Lesson learned. Cindy signing out.